right, hey everybody, we are live on YouTube. It is Monday, April 20th. We've got Cody in the studio, Matt in Steve Garvey's locker room for some reason, and and Jose in the Foothill Studios in in his office. How's it going, guys? What's going on? All right. Still quarantine. Obviously, we're doing the show remote. Um, Been busy week. Busy. Again, we go back to talking about how a lot of the stuff hasn't changed for us, but um, I had already had a busy day. I was telling the guys earlier that like I feel like I went to a job meeting this morning and then turned around all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock. So we're starting a little bit later than usual because I couldn't get my stuff together. So yeah, behind the scenes as we've been BSing and trying to figure out what we're going to talk about and how it's going to work and anything else we need to look at and what we got to do and all that stuff. So let's start with Jose. You brought the Bronco to the table. Let's start with the Bronco um, spy shots. There's been some new spy shots. Sport, yeah. They they didn't ruin the Mustang. They added an additional Mustang. Uh, um, yeah. Well, I think isn't the Bronco Sport? I wouldn't be surprised if the Bronco Sport had a hybrid option, some kind of electric or hybrid option. So what are your thoughts, Jose? Since you brought it to the table, orange is awesome. But yeah, but that's extra. That's like you get the floor mats and the trash in the side door. No, but the but that knob selector is it's in the Escape. It's been a lot of crossover SUVs. If this is the out of the Bronco Sport, the crossover SUV, I don't think that's out of place. Oh, do they? Yes, I'm saying I don't think that is too out of place in 2021. The knob, the gear selector knob. Yeah, I mean, and I don't necessarily disagree. I prefer that as well, but again, like it's 90% of these, all the transmissions now are electronic, and that gear shifter thing is nothing more than a mechanism to make you feel like you're doing stuff. It's not mechanical anymore. So whether or not it's a dial or whatever, I don't see it as a major deal. It's in my truck. Same power plant, and I can attest to the fact that it's badass. I don't know because I thought badass was cooler. This article I'm reading says that presumably a choice of either Ford's turbocharged 1.5 liter three cylinder or turbocharged 2 liter four cylinder. So yeah, they go. I, this isn't a truck though. This is a compact SUV. Well, I don't think they were trying to set the world on fire with this. They were just it's the next iteration of interior, and I think it's stylish. No, I'm just saying it's the next iteration. For it, yeah, yeah, oh, agreed, totally agree that there is a, the way that the your Renegade has the like the red trim and some of the bezels and stuff. That's a total knockoff. This is a total knockoff of that, and it's consistent with. Yeah. Well, a big part of it's subjective. There's been plenty of people, and we've talked to some of them that have knocked the Ford Ranger interior because it feels too much like a truck. It feels too much like a car, and they want to be in a truck, and they want a truck interior and all that. And I get exactly what they're saying, but to be honest, I uh, I like the way that my truck feels on the interior. I like the fact that it's comfortable and not like a Spartan steel dashboard. So it's a lot of that is subjective, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Okay, pause. We went through this before, so let me go back to OBS and um, well,
Double Jeopardy.
okay, Tim, is that any better? Can you guys talk?
What theme song is this?
Wheel of Fortune.
Boop.
Wheel of Fortune. I guess back in the day, they were just completely hammered every time they were recording that shit.
What?
Oh, that makes me like that show now. Pat,
Yeah,
Pat, Pat Sajak is just blitzed.
yeah, it's like, why is he so red and swollen?
Because he's got a side gig as Santa Claus, dude. Come on, the guy's got bills to pay, dude. It's expensive in LA.
Pat Sajak, dude. Would you want that job?
I'll take that job tomorrow.
Would you really?
Why not? Why? Because I got to be fake.
Yeah, dude. It's like
People are fake every day.
Yeah, okay, now we can hear you guys.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to do. We're breaking the matrix.
Again,
Yeah.
reboot.
Okay, so back at 44. So going back to the comment, Matt, I don't know. I don't know what makes it this interior better than anything. I just think it looks cool. It looks like the display bezel, the instrument cluster is all digital. There's no dials there. It looks to me like maybe there is. There's a dial there, but there's a screen in the
big
middle.
knob. What are you talking about?
No. The display, the instrument cluster, the miles per hour, the all that stuff. But I think I think it looks cool, and it's something we haven't seen out of Ford. It may look like something else, but I don't know. I like it. I like the style.
Yeah, that's what we said. This is like your wet dream. It looks like like something Darth Vader came out of, and
I don't think
was
it's
real.
that. I don't think it's that nerdy. I don't think it's that geeky or
hey, are you calling Darth Vader a nerd?
Kinda. He's part computer. I mean, how much more nerdy can you get than infusing your body with computer parts?
Is
That's
he
pretty-
at what
that's
point
pretty
is a
nerdy.
cyborg full machine? Like, when do you start becoming stop
This
becoming
is the
human?
content we need to break down.
I
This
don't-
is what people want to know about.
Look. I
And
don't know
agree
the.
with you, Jose.
I don't know the answer to that, but as soon as someone finds out, let me know because I want to go up to that threshold. I still want to be human, but if I can get as many cyborg parts into me as possible.
No.
So Cody,
I'm
what would
I'm
be
gonna
the
tell you,
first
dude.
upgrade you would do? Two
I would get those blades, those
blades,
blades,
those blades,
like Gazelle from
carbon fiber
Kingsman.
shafts.
Yeah, no, from
Why don't
Kingsman.
you see if Icon can put a couple of struts back there?
Oh, dude! Right, but so that's what I need. I
Even
need
has shocks for legs.
I need special Icon shoes where
Every
the
time you walk, it just.
I need
That's what it sounds like.
I need
Just don't kill your wife.
I need special. Oh, I need
Oh.
special Icon shoes where the back extends past your heel, and then you can bolt a shock there that goes up to and attaches at your thigh right above your knee, so that all that whole bottom section is also suspension.
It's just gonna put more stress on the rest of you and just blow out others.
You're gonna blow out your knees and
Yeah, you're gonna be Borg like before you know it.
I
like,
doubt that.
You're gonna have the laser like on the side of your head, pointing at people, that's Jose. That's when you hit like full cyborg status. You're more machine than human at that point.
When you've got
And you're susceptible to hacking. So think of that. Exactly.
so
don't want.
so Jose, looking at the interior of this Bronco, are you interested in it?
No, not the sport. I would want to check out the full size Bronco.
Yeah, me too. But I think as a small size or mid size crossover SUV, I don't see anything in there that wouldn't make me not buy it.
Well, look, dude. For me, at this any interior, any new car for me is an upgrade. So,
Anything that doesn't use a Bluetooth JBL speaker stuffed into your
Yeah.
center console is an upgrade for
Guys,
you.
I'm just looking for a fully functional cigarette lighter would be great.
yeah.
I remember the first time I got into Jose's car, that JBL speaker is there. Is that your sound system?
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
speaking of
Hey,
no,
I do have like 8 ashtrays in my truck though. How many do you guys got?
yeah, very true, very true.
I just have a giant bed in the back I could throw
Oh.
ashes in, I guess. If I wanted to.
We did get on the same vein of reviewing new vehicles. We got an email from our buddy Rob Flores. That's the title of the article is "The 2020 Nissan Frontier has everything you need and nothing you don't," and it's from Motor Trend. And looking at the interior pictures of the 2020 Frontier, it looks like the 2005 Frontier.
It looks like exactly the same as Matt's interior.
It's the exact same truck except the powertrain.
Yeah, it's a different power.
Yeah,
train.
but
Yeah.
so I mean,
Best in class.
my point being, are we looking to Matt for the deciding factor on what interiors are cool? He's still driving a truck with.
Now you can understand my confusion with looking at things that light up with different colors and stuff. I don't get it.
I remember when we test drove Matt's truck and it had seat heaters in it, and he about lost his mind because it was the coolest thing he'd ever seen in his life.
All right, the Renegade had.
Oh yeah, the Renegade did. Yeah, the Renegade did have some gadgets, but the 2020 Nissan Frontier, it's the last year of your body style. It's coming out with that new power plant. We talked about it a little bit, where it's going to have the bigger, more powerful engine, and their
Actually
test.
smaller.
Well, that still has more horsepower, right? It still has.
Yeah, so it's a 3.8 direct injected. It's a 9-speed transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be shared with the Titan, the new Titan.
Still think that that's the best bang for your buck right there. If you're looking for a truck, mid-sized truck, go get a Frontier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's best bang for your buck. It's a great truck, man. I mean, Matt beats the shit out of his truck, and it goes everywhere we go.
And it likes it. It likes it. And I'll tell you again, with the Nexen tire, that setup it's just really it builds confidence. You could look at some difficult looking hills, and of course I still have clearance issues, but I know I'm going to make it up anything without having to mash the pedal.
Imagine if we were sponsored by a suspension company that made.
Oh
stuff
man,
for
that'd be crazy.
No, that's madness. Nobody makes suspension parts for the Nissan Frontier, dude.
Yeah, that shit ain't happening, dude.
You know, I think when the new one comes out, people are gonna realize like this is a good truck, and then you're gonna see an uptick on Matt's generation.
Yeah.
You're gonna see a bunch more of them out there.
Yeah, I just like when the Gen 3 Tacoma came out, you saw a bunch of the Gen 2s hit the market, and the used car sales on that increased. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that the head over to Motor Trend and read the article, and it's all about how the Nissan is a great truck, and I mean, it talks about how the powertrain is on par with a bunch of the other vehicles, and how in some of the other mid-sized trucks you might have to stomp the gas to get up a hill, and this one you don't, and it's again we've talked about it plenty on the show. Is the Nissan's great.
Yeah, look, the 300 horsepower at 9 speeds, right? 9-speed transmission.
Yeah, 310 horse, 9-speed transmission.
I can't imagine. I mean that I'd already have gone through a set of tires. If I'd had those stats, I'd just be, because it's already easy, just to do little burnouts, all the time, just the way it is now. An extra 40 horse, 50 horse. Would be insane. But yeah, I look forward to the new one, the new body style. But I am still super pumped on just my truck. I don't really care that it's older looking or that you see a ton of them. I just know how much fun I have in it, and it takes a beating, and it takes me to work every day. So.
Well, with that said, would you take money off the table? Let's say you had a bunch of money in your hand, and the new one came out. Would you be interested in trading in yours for a new Nissan?
So the same parameters. I'm still. I need the security of knowing this can get me to work after I bash on it on the weekends. So yeah, I only have it's a 5-speed, and it's the same 267 horse or whatever 6-cylinder that it's been in it forever. But that's about, in my mind, as bulletproof as you can get.
Yep.
So I don't think I'd buy the first gen. I would just continue wheeling my truck for a couple more years until, even though Nissans, I don't think they have a rep for putting out like shoddy stuff.
No.
I think my truck does everything that I need it to do right now. And it depends on what the new Frontier looks like, I guess. It'd have to look really cool. for to kind of push it over the edge.
Well, if you've seen the Navara overseas, it's supposed to be similar to that, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be essentially the same truck.
Yeah, and that Navara, that 2021, or the Navara itself, is a bitchin' looking truck, man.
Sure, no, it looks cool, but I would think they'd have to do something a little different.
Yeah, I'm looking at some pictures. It's a newer body style. I mean, you can tell it seems like it. Well, from the picture I'm looking at, it looks like it has the same footprint. But it's. I think it's just modernized to match what trucks look like today. You know what I mean? I think it's got more of a swept up grill on either side. It's got, probably LED lights and a bunch of other stuff. But I mean, I think at the core of it, it's still the Nissan chassis.
How about rock lights? You think they got some rock lights on that?
Probably. I mean, people that drive Frontiers are all about rock lights.
They probably have to come from the factory, because you're not going to get any goddamn rock lights from any aftermarket support or anything. I'll tell you that.
So if you guys look at the script,
even rock lights somehow wouldn't work on a Frontier, I feel.
Dude, they're just lights.
They're just lights that you got to figure out how to mount. But nope. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted these rock lights for your Frontier?
what's that?
Yeah, exactly.
If you guys look at the script, I put up a link.
Yeah, I already opened it. Hold on, let's pause for 10 minutes so Matt can figure out how to open the link on a Google Doc.
Dude, if the new truck
working,
if the new truck is anything like this one, I think they got a winner.
Well, so let me ask you, Jose. You have mentioned a couple times that you would love to get into a truck, and you love Matt's Nissan. If you were in the market for a truck and had the money to do it, would you jump on board the new Frontier?
I would. So I'm probably most likely going to get a new car next year. And this hopefully
Has that hold on, has that been cleared?
Well, supposedly next year.
Are you still working on getting clearance from that?
Still working on the budget for 2021. But yeah, so I mean, there's so many options, right? Like a Jeep, a Toyota truck, a Nissan truck. But I'm really curious on what this one's going to be too. I mean, the Land Rover, unless they offer 180 months financing,
0% finance for lifetime.
Yeah. At like $80 a month, or like a UTV kind of deal. That's the only way I'm getting that Land Rover Defender. But this truck might be a possibility. Maybe a used Jeep or something. But
notice the orange highlights around it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's doing,
dude.
These
Orange.
days.
All the kids, cool kids, man. All the cool kids are going with orange. That's
what really kind of sets it apart, I think, is the Zombie Apocalypse bar. I got to get one of those. I think that kind of takes the styling to another level. It's an eye grabber. Kind of makes the truck look a little buffer.
Well, I was supposed to spend some money on a new computer. I mean, on a new welder, so that Casey could make us Zombie Apocalypse bars. But
what are we gonna do, dude? We're only a few weeks away from zombies being on the streets, and now we're unprepared.
We are totally unprepared.
All right.
But I do think that
you'll have a new computer.
I do think that the Nissan Navara or the new 2021 Frontier, if it is anything like the Navara and they market it correctly, I think they can do great things.
No, they're not going to market anything.
So that's
what's sad.
That's where I was going with that. Is we've had this conversation 100 times, and Jeremy has talked about it. They've recently made a push for the Titan, but they have not pushed the Frontier as a rugged off-road vehicle. And if they do that here in the States, man, this thing's going to be nice. I mean, they're going to, like you said, Jose, they're going to be winner.
Yeah, because imagine if they did something like what Land Rover did, like fly, journalists to a pre-planned like expedition, right?
To a Home Depot and got them in one of the Frontiers.
What you can run in the bed.
Okay, I could see that happening. I don't think it's not going to cost them much.
No, but if they had something like that, right? Like where they can display the truck's capabilities in different terrains, like I think that would be cool.
Yeah, and I think that, and I'm for those of you on the watching the YouTube, I've got it up on the screen. I just think the style is cool. I think it's
You gotta show
similar.
your screen. It's not showing your screen.
No, I'm talking about for the people on YouTube. You guys have to figure it out.
There you go.
The I think the styling is cool, and I think it's consistent with what trucks look like today. And again, if they push this as an off-road vehicle and people start noticing it, I think it could be. And the only reason, Matt, that aftermarket support isn't as big for the Frontier is because no one's asking for it, right? I mean, you don't have people other than you and like one other
I've
person.
been asking for it like on a weekly basis.
Yeah, but it's just you.
Somebody make some stuff for my truck, please. Yeah. Look. People are. I think if you're gonna drop money on something, you're actually gonna wheel. And Toyota has that. It's kind of the name and that image and whatever. That's what people are buying into. It's just like Harleys,
Mm-hmm.
dude. In the 80s and 90s, I think Harley was. I don't think they made a really great bike at that time. That
No.
might be That might be controversial, but I remember having buddies like, oh, I'd rather spend more time riding my bike than working on it. So
Yeah.
I bought a, whatever. I bought a Honda.
Dude,
I
I spent.
I'm not saying Toyota has that rep, but people still bought Harley just, because they wanted a Harley. And I think it's kind of the same thing with Toyota. They have that reputation, and now they're all over the place on social media.
Social media,
They
yeah.
do a great job marketing, and it's a quality product. I'm not knocking the product at all, but they've had a free run for like a while, in the truck market, and Nissan just kind of let that drop. So I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll put some money into marketing. You know what you got to do is you got to show that new Frontier, like jumping water towers or climbing the top of Everest, just like dumb
Yeah,
shit.
remember when the
And then
Gen?
people be like, I swear to God, I saw it on Facebook. The new Nissan Frontier climbed over some dude's house.
Yeah.
Like.
Do
Just
you
something
remember
ridiculous.
when the Gen 3 Tacoma came out and they had those crazy commercials of people in the desert doing wheelies on dirt bikes wearing unicorn heads and the Tacomas
Yes.
were flying? It was like a Mad Max off-road Burning Man party house, and like you saw that commercial and you were like, dude, I want to do that.
I want to
dude,
hang out with those people.
Yeah, they did great. They did great marketing for the TRD Pro line. They would have like mini docs on YouTube, maybe like 8-minute long videos of like the trucks going through like the Denali Highway in Alaska, like through a snowstorm, or climbing like a volcano, like volcanic rocks in
Yeah.
South America. Like they were cool little videos. Like it wasn't anything like anything other truck couldn't do, but it was showing you like, hey, these trucks can go out and wheel, and hopefully Nissan does something like that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they put the effort
So
into it.
What I'm saying is, Nissan, you want to give me a new Frontier, and you want me to mob the shit out of that. I'll just give me a truck and a drone. Cody can figure out how to fly the drone, and I will drive the hell out of that truck, and we'll make it really cool. Everybody will want one.
Oh, well, I
Actually,
want
if
everybody.
we had a drone, and people just followed me around with a drone in the truck I'm in, it'd probably sell the hell out of the whole Frontiers.
I'm telling you, when the new one comes out and it's as badass as it's going to be, I'm telling you, there's going to be like people buying your current gen, Matt, because they're going to
Yeah.
realize, like, dude, this truck is badass.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start selling more of the Pro 4Xs than what it is now.
Especially,
So I think
bang for buck. By that time,
Exactly.
that Pro 4X that's 2-3 years old is going to drop down below 20.
Yep.
K, and it's gonna be the best pickup ever. The best deal ever on a
Yeah,
pickup.
people are gonna start realizing like I can't believe these things weren't selling like hotcakes. New.
I would totally buy one.
Back when people bought hotcakes.
I would totally buy one, except it doesn't have any like orange on the interior. It doesn't. None of that appeals to me.
No. Again, Nissan, if you could just start putting some orange in the interiors, obviously that's where everybody's going these days. I don't see any orange in any of this interior. They just move
Actually, the
right
one
on
we just
out.
looked at did have orange on the interior.
Oh, that was the new one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, guys.
So I want to go back though to something you were talking about, Matt. So I spent 3-4 years. I owned a motorcycle service company, and when you talk about Harleys, like that was 2004 to 2000, early 2004 to late 2007, and my business partner bought a Harley the same time I bought a Yamaha. His Harley was in the shop 4 times before the first oil change on my Yamaha.
Oh, that's right. You were a motorcycle aficionado, basically,
Yeah.
right? You had a shop, so I mean, it's not like I'm saying anything
No,
controversial.
and people would say to me, what kind of Harley should I buy, or what kind of motorcycle should I buy, and they'd start talking about it, and I would say, do you want a motorcycle or do you want a Harley? Because those are 2 different things. And they were like, well, what do you mean? I said, if you want a motorcycle that you can get on, turn the key, ride forever, and not have any problems, and have a great experience, then there's a whole segment of motorcycles that you can buy. But if you want a motorcycle that you can go to Home Depot, that you can go to Walmart and get sheets that have the logo on it, and you can get hats at the swap meet with the logo on it, and you want a brethren of people, that all think the same thing, that wear the same patches, that's Harley. That's completely different. That is a fraternity, and I'm not bagging on it. I'm saying if you want to be part of that fraternity and you want to be part of that community of Harleys, that's very different than someone that just wants to ride a motorcycle. I wanted to ride, and I rode Yamahas. All my street bikes were Yamahas, and I never had any problems with any of them. And I worked on all kinds of bikes, and most of them were Harleys because those were, for 2 reasons. One, there was plenty of stuff to do to them, and 2, those guys had money, and they weren't afraid to pay people to do the work. So
There you go.
So I totally agree with you, Matt. It's sometimes buying a vehicle is more about the community and the fraternity and all the additional peripheral stuff that you can't.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No, there's not.
But I still I don't even want to go down this road.
Uh-oh.
But like in the late 70s, early 80s. America didn't make a whole lot of great cars. I mean, you don't see any of those on the road anymore.
Yeah.
Good luck. Because
I did see an Escort ZR. What was the Escort Sport? I saw one today. It was like a late 80s Escort. I want to say ZR2, but that can't. That's a Chevy thing.
No, it's the
Escort.
ZX2.
Yes, there it was, and it was a little Ford Escort ZX2 2-seater Miata looking thing. I saw that today on the road and thought it was hilarious.
See, we never got any of the cool cars in like the 80s and 90s. Like, dude, overseas, you had that Ford Cosworth Escort. Was like a rally car.
What?
It was all-wheel drive, turbocharged Escort.
No.
Like the first gen.
It was called what? The Cogsworth?
Cosworth.
Cosworth?
COS
Okay, so not like the clock in Beauty and the Beast.
No. It's a rally car for the street. It's a Ford Escort Cosworth.
Did they make a Lumiere version too?
No.
Oh, that is cool. I'm looking at it now. That's super cool.
It's turbocharged, all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
We never got it here.
No, I had I think I've told you that. I had a 1990 Ford Escort, and I loved that thing. I'd love to get a 1990 Ford Escort and refurbish it and make it a.
You said it got
commuter.
stolen or got?
No, I traded I sold the car back to my dad for my sister. So Matt's wife drove it for a while.
My buddy had the same Escort, like a hatchback 5-speed. Dude, someone stole that thing.
What?
Yeah. I don't know what for what. They probably.
Because it was fun. It was a fun little car, man.
Okay.
All right, so enough-
We went through. We pissed off probably a bunch of people.
Yes,
talking
but the
you
Harleys
know.
and the, yeah, you're right. So let's
So would
move.
you say Ford is like the Harley of today?
No. Moving on to the. Thank you for that segue. So we talked about it a little bit last week. We talked about our streaming efforts, and we've struggled. And we had a company reach out to us that had heard us talking about our struggles on the stream, and that was EVGA. And I'm going to make the assumption that there's some people on here that don't know who that is. So EVGA is a
I'm still not that sure I know who it is. We've been talking about it.
so EVGA is a computer parts manufacturer. They're local here. Their headquarters is here in Southern California, and they have been around for a long time. And they make graphics cards and motherboards and coolers and power supplies. A lot of really high end equipment. So we have a listener that works for EVGA, and they reached out when we were talking about trying to figure out how to do our live stream, and they offered their help. And it was a super great conversation right off the bat. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can go later and see. But right behind me is a brand new EVGA DG77 case with all the components put in it. I built it over the weekend. We've got an EVGA graphics card in there, power supply, liquid cooler. I actually did an unboxing video that I was hoping to get up tonight before we started the live stream, but that didn't happen. So I will do it either tonight or tomorrow and put up the unboxing video that walks you through all the different components that we got. And we're not streaming on it right now because just as of late yesterday, early this morning, I got an operating system installed on it and am testing it. You know, we have enough trouble as it is with a system we've been using for a couple years. I didn't want to throw it into production right away.
So Matt, I had tossed an idea out there of me and you filming Cody assemble the computer.
Yeah.
But we'd be drinking and making fun of him the whole time.
No, and I said no.
Right.
I
Sounds
said
like a good time.
I said well, two reasons. One, I didn't want to wait 6 months for the quarantine to be over. And two, if you guys were over my shoulder while I was trying to build this, I would have lost my shit. I would have completely. So let me tell you. So the parts came in, and so I had already ordered some parts. These parts came in, and it was like 3-4 days. And guys, building a computer is similar in like feel and anxiety and excitement as building your truck. Like imagine your rock sliders, your bumpers, and your suspension system all showed up and they're in your garage on Tuesday and you can't get to it till Saturday. So you're out.
Yeah, look, let's put some rock sliders on that thing and let's take it out to the desert. I'll drag it behind the front too.
I'll
try to get into it.
I asked Jeremy if they've got any miniature like RC car shocks that we can bolt onto the side here. I'm gonna see if Nexon has some like foam tires we could set it on for isolation. But so the parts were sitting here for a couple days and it was just driving me nuts looking at them. And it was what was it? Friday night. It was like Friday night, and the girls had fallen asleep, and it was like 9:00. And I was super tired, and I was like, you know what? If I don't do this now, it's not going to happen. And I came out here into the studio and started filming and put 50-70% of it together, like until midnight. I worked until midnight to get it done. And then the next night, Saturday, same kind of thing. The girls and I hung out, and then it got later in the day. The girls fell asleep, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do it again. And I got in the studio, and I was tired. It was like 9:00, and I worked until 2:00 in the morning. And I am not someone that stays up past midnight. Like, nothing good happens after midnight. But once I got going, I didn't want to stop. And I got the whole thing built, and then loaded the operating system on it yesterday and started playing with it and just didn't get a chance to finish. But the thing is amazing. Like this is like going from a 2005 Nissan Frontier to a 2019 Ford Ranger. Like more horsepower, it just looks better. It's got more capacity.
It's like going from a 2005 Frontier
To a 2019.
Oh,
Oh no, it is it's
So you got the same computer?
that's what I should have done. I should have taken all the components that they gave us and put it inside the same case that we have from 4 years ago, 6 years ago, and be
Yeah.
like, what? It's an upgrade. But no, so seriously, this thing is, and I'll do some more videos. I'll post the unboxing video. I got to put together a video for the build. But this thing it's super clean. It's an all glass case. It's got LEDs in it that are all orange right now. It's got orange cabling in it to kind of set off the style. I've got Trail Chaser stickers hidden inside of it. You guys can't see it from the video feed, but I'm just the couple minutes I've played with it. It is an amazing what you can do with the right tools. You know, going back to the conversation about, you know, going off road with Nexen tires and Icon suspension. I mean, the difference between, you know, our machine that we're using right now is at least 5 years old. And, you know, it hasn't kept up with the technology and the capacity. So I am really looking forward to this. And being able to use this machine not only for the geek factor, but I think the three of us have talked about our desire to get more content online, more video, more processing, more of that stuff. This is going to give us the tool to do a lot of that. And I already made a deal with EVGA that Matt can't touch it.
smart.
That's
a good idea.
Good. Yeah.
So the goal is to spend probably this next week testing it. I didn't want to put it into tonight's feed until I had the chance to test it. And the equipment is rock solid. I just have some applications and stuff on the machine that I haven't been able to test, like what we're using to record right now. So after tonight, I'll do that. I'll test it. And if it works, we'll swap it out for next week and see how it does. The team at Jacob and Joe over at EVGA have also offered to help with the OBS feeds, so that we can try to figure out. OBS is the Open Broadcast Studio. It's the software we're using to stream and record at the same time. So we are going to get some help from them to do that. You know what? Question. I know Matt's not. Like, you know, Matt doesn't really have a whole lot of interest in computers and technology, that stuff, like, other than, you know, stuff that you can immediately use. But Jose, you're kind of a computer nerd. I mean, you know all the different computer stuff, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I used to be a hardcore gamer back in the day.
You know about keyboards and mice and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Screens and buttons, beeps and
the,
boops.
the plug-in, the cord that goes into the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Beep boop beep boop beep.
Beep boop beep boop.
This, by the way, that's great podcast content. Beep boop bop boop.
No, I've always wanted to build a hardcore gaming PC. Like I said last week, I've built it on, emulators and stuff, like online, but I've never actually built one physically. But yeah, I mean, you could, just because you have to do research on what parts work best with what other parts, and that's kind of cool that EVGA reached out and they're like, okay, show me what you were planning on buying, and then we'll because you had already had like you said, you had already like 5 or 6 different builds.
Yeah.
That you had.
Well, full disclosure, I had actually pulled the trigger and ordered everything.
You had bought everything already.
I had pulled the trigger and ordered everything, and then the communication with EVGA happened like the very next day, and so I showed them the list of what I had, and they were like, "Yep, that'll work, but we have some components that might be better. What do you think of this?" And absolutely, like, and there's plenty of. And we're going to go into nerd talk for a minute, but there's plenty of websites where you can go and like compare this processor to this one and this graphics card to this one. And I'll tell you that the processor I have is, I think, 4 times more powerful than the other one, and the graphics card that EVGA that I worked with EVGA to get is 10 times more powerful than anything that I've ever used. This is the most high end, coolest machine. Like, it's right up there with my truck as far as my excitement level goes. I'm curious to know how how everybody else, like on our feed and in our listener audience, feels about computers. Like, because I think, I think you're the outcast, man. That's why I'm asking the question. I think you have no interest in it, but I think that there are plenty of people that do. And for anybody that's trying to do any time of content creation, YouTube page, social media, all that stuff, all that comes back to processing power and machine capabilities in your computer, and not all of it, a lot of it. And having the right tool will make it that much easier and better. So I'm curious to know, if you are a tech person, if you're interested in computer stuff, drop us a line at thetrailchasers@gmail.com or Cody at trailchasers.net, just to give me your
No,
input.
send them all to Matt. Matt at trailchasers.net with
Dude,
all your.
I'll help you out. What kind of information? Do
What
you
kind
need?
of
answer-
gigabytes are you trying to eat there?
I'll tell you about gigabytes and teraflops and mega widgets. I don't know, but I'll answer your questions. I would not take my advice literally, or you could, whatever.
Well, my point is, I think it's possible to be an off-road enthusiast and a computer nerd, and building a computer is very much like building a truck and adding the accessories and the customization. This thing is up and running. I got it complete, 100% complete. Showed Tammy, and I'm sitting back looking at it, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. And I ended up taking it apart, pulling a bunch of stuff out, swapping things up, moving the wiring, putting it back together, and now it's where it's at. And I've got a couple ideas already of how to customize it even more that I will do over time.
It just sounds so. I can't. I want to be PC. I can't say what it sounds like to me, but it's just lame. Dude, I had to pull it all apart because I didn't like the way the computer looked. What are you talking about? Dude, that's insanity to me. Just put it together so that it works good, and then you're done.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference. The difference is, I think me and most of the other people in the world like cool stuff, and you're driving a 2005 truck.
Well, I can't laugh because I'm driving at 94.
Yeah. Jose is literally driving a 1994. So, anyways, I am super stoked about the partnership with EVGA. We're going to start trying to use the full potential of this machine to do more stuff. If you guys have tech tips for us to use on the streaming and all that stuff, let me know. And I am all about trying to make that work. And thank you to EVGA for really stepping up and helping us get better at what we're trying to do, because we need all the help we can get.
Yes.
I need to go get my my computers. I got like 6% power
Okay,
left.
we'll take it. Go ahead. We'll stop. I'll leave it running, but I was going to use this as a break point, anyways. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Yes, I am Joe. I am Next Level Nerd, and I'm cool with that.
You guys got any questions in the chat? You guys any something you guys want to ask us? Even though we know all the people in the chat.
Yeah, and tomorrow's my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Casey!
Happy early birthday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. It all comes down to workflow. And the better machine you got, the more efficient you can be.
Yeah, I've already just started, running a couple applications and doing stuff, and this thing is amazing. And it looks, I know it sounds nerdy, but it looks super cool. It's the type of machine where you're proud of it. Like, yeah, I want to put that on display. And it's super solid the way it's built. I could not be happier with it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome. The picture you sent us earlier, it looks great, dude. It's funny. I was watching a video on like a hot rod or something, and they were talking about all the different parts. Dude, hot rod, like building a hot rod and building an off-road truck, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, Curry. Look at Curry. That's all they,
Like you literally buy the same parts.
Yeah,
like,
the
so
drive-
you buy shocks, right? But one's for to lower it, one's to raise it.
Mm-hmm.
But they also buy lockers, dude, for
Yeah.
line lock,
Yep, that makes sense.
and they have lockers just like the one I have for the one I have. The lunchbox locker.
Mhm.
They have that for drag racing because that's like the poor man's locker.
Yep. When I toured the Curry facility, they had there's the Rock Jocks, the full width Rock Jock axles, and then they had one that was just as big, huge pumpkin, Dana 60 type pumpkin,
But
big,
short little axles.
but it was literally like 2 feet long on either side, or 1 foot long on either side.
Yeah,
I was
'cause
holy
the
shit,
tires
because the
that
wheels are
go
6
on
feet
there, yeah.
wide. But it's basically take a Rock Jock 60 and shrink it.
Yeah, like it's seriously, it's incredible. Like when you look at the parts, you're like, dude, that's just like an off-road
Mhm.
rig, but just in a different direction. But it's the same parts. It's pretty crazy, dude. It's pretty cool, actually. Like, yeah, they use lockers too. They use shocks. It's pretty crazy. That's a nice chair Matt has there.
Yeah, nice camping chair, Matt.
But yeah, I would coming back around to buying a new truck next year. Yeah, I want to see what the new Frontier is going to be.
I definitely think it's worth if you're in the market. I definitely think it's worth looking at. Just like I would say the new Bronco is too, right? I mean,
Well, that's not going to be allowed in my house.
come on, you want
that wouldn't be approved for sure.
you want to take the Ranger home for a couple days? We'll swap vehicles for a week. You guys can drive it around.
No, she's like, I already don't like it.
She says that. Wait till she drives it.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of heavy hitters coming out next year, dude, or later this year.
Mhm.
You have the the Land Rover, the new Frontier, the Bronco.
Yeah, but I don't think the Land Rover honestly.
No,
Is not-
That's not an option.
Yeah,
for
it's not
sure.
even in the realm.
But I mean,
What is
Jeep is. I mean, I've never had a Jeep. Apparently, they're okay. I don't know.
What is Matt doing over there? I thought all he had to do was plug in his computer.
I don't know, but I hope he doesn't do anything inappropriate.
Yeah, I know. I took him off the live feed. I took his picture off the live feed just in case. Are you back, Matt? Nope. Oh, what a shit show.
That's fine.
Did you guys get a nice view of my ass crack? right
Yeah,
there?
that's what we were just saying. I had to click off of
Yeah.
you because I didn't know if you were gonna fart on the live feed.
Well, still time. It's not too late.
Okay, so you are back at 127. Took you 7 minutes to plug in your computer.
I went pee.
Oh, okay. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, so we're back from our break, and I do want to talk about just briefly. We're not going to read it, but we did get an email from Scott from Riverside, and he's probably the 8th or 10th person that sent us an email asking about Patreon, and it's the idea of having a Patreon account for the show is something that we've tossed around a bunch.
We've talked about it a few times.
Yeah, I don't know if right now is the right time, and I'm curious if anybody's got any feedback. Like I personally have a couple Patreon accounts that I contribute to, and every time they put out a show, money comes out of the account, and you pay for it, and that's I'm good with that. I figure they're providing the content, and I'm willing to pay for it. I don't
Does
know.
that mean? I'm sorry. Does that mean like the potential interest in you get invites to when we go out on a trail
Well, that-
or stuff
It
like
just-
that.
it
That's where I
depends
was-
on how we want to
Yeah.
structure the tiers.
That's where I was going to go with this. Is the hard part with that is that, you know, if you're part of a Patreon, you have backstage pass and you have all kinds of extra content. And for me, that's the hard part of the is creating more content, you know. So I just wanted to.
What if on the Patreon account you could pay $5 a month, and then I'll let you come over. You can help me out with some laundry or some other chores around the house.
I'm
But
sure that will go great.
Hey, you never know. You got to throw it out there. There could be some laundry freaks out there, and I don't care. I just want clean clothes on a regular basis.
So
Um,
so a lot of the
how does that work? Go to Patreon. How do you spell Patreon?
Well, there's nothing there. There's nothing there now.
Onlyfans.com.
Yeah. So I really don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole. It was an email. I wanted to acknowledge to Scott that we got the email. It's something we've thought about. And if anybody else has feedback on Patreon, I'd love to hear that. 951-394-DIRT or the email. I mean, you know, send us an email at thetrailchasers at gmail.com and let us know what your thoughts are on it. Because I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah, real quick, I just some of the popular YouTube channels and, you know, social media influencers, their Patreon, like their tiers, like at a certain tier, like they get all the off-road trail, the maps they do, the trail runs, you can download them. You get like
Yeah, but ours will just look like a big spaghetti strap, like a big old spaghetti noodle.
it's just a circle.
Yeah, no one's gonna want that.
But that'd be kind of interesting. I guess if you were able to download and say, all right, let me see what this Frontier really did, and then you could duplicate that trail or, you know, try and do it, and oh my God, like turn around and give me some props, some kudos for driving the hell out of a truck. You're a maniac.
No,
I guess that's kind of interesting, you know, like again, that seems like something that's there's some actual value in. If you're going on a trail, it's not really something you don't have a whole lot of experience doing, but you know a stock Frontier did something, and you're in a Jeep, like, oh, I should probably be able to do this.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, that's true. But at least you know, like, okay, this is probably a pretty, you know, moderate trail.
Yeah, somebody did it. Somebody I know did it.
Exactly.
The
There's
biggest
probably value in that.
The biggest issue for me by setting that whole thing up is I would hope they get their money's worth. Like that would be my main concern.
And you know what? Right now they're getting this for free.
You're
they're still not getting their money's worth.
Exactly. I could give this shit away if we try.
Yeah, I feel bad for people that listen to us. Like, oh man, I feel like I still owe people.
No, dude, those are our people, man. They're our people.
No, I know. I feel, and that makes me feel even worse.
Oh, and in the chat, Casey says, "Bring back the calendar idea." No, dude, no. That calendar was the ultimate flop. That was the December 2018 calendar idea that flopped, and we will never revisit that idea again, ever again.
Yeah, but it was like, go ahead and hashtag this. You gotta subscribe to this.
That's why it was a flop. We didn't know what we were doing.
And, send us your social security number.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. So that's something we'll going back to the email from Scott. It's something we've talked about. We'll continue to have some conversation about it and come up with something, man.
I don't want to get naked for Patreon. I'll put that out there.
Hey, everybody has a price, man.
Everybody, $20 is $20, bro.
Well, so $20 from all of our listeners means I get like what, like 40 bucks or something? 40, 50 bucks. All right, now we're getting up there.
Man, what would the price be for you to just have a cam on you 24/7? 10 G's a month? 10 grand a month. And you don't
I do it. You know what?
You
would? I would start at 10 grand, and then I think it would probably get pretty popular. I gotta tell you, I've thought, even when I was, in the field, clowning around with the guys on the job site or whatever, I always thought that would be pretty entertaining, and it's still pretty entertaining in the office. I think it's pretty fun. I think following me around would probably be pretty entertaining, but that's just me.
No,
so YouTube.
I'm
so you want to sponsor my YouTube, my personal YouTube channel at how do I set that up?
Do you have a YouTube channel? You have an OnlyFans page.
I have a what now? What do I have?
An OnlyFans.
I don't think
That's
what is that?
Our website, sex worker website.
Okay.
All right.
I do?
We're editing
I
that.
do?
Editing that.
Oh.
Editing that.
Why?
I'm just kidding. Because I don't want to think about Matt
You don't want
on
your
a
OnlyFans
cam
link
page.
getting out
Yeah.
there?
I don't want Matt's not a cam girl. So we
Not
all
yet.
not yet, but after quarantine, who knows? We also got a message from our buddy Alex Scala, and he full on called us out and said, "When are we going to do that Mountain Hats
Oh.
giveaway?"
Yeah. After he posted a picture of what was it? Something kept spilling or something.
It was a
Yeah.
drink or something.
Yeah, he said, "I'm tired of my drink spilling," and it was a picture of his drink on his tailgate falling apart, and he's like, "When are you guys going to do that giveaway?" And I was like, "Oh man, I totally we dropped the ball." We reached out. I reached out to the Nissan Nation podcast, and we thought we'd do something with them, and they were like, "Yeah, for sure." Well, and then I never did anything with that. I think right after that was. What was it? Expo. I think it was right after that was the Adventure Expo, and we just kind of
it was Hammers, and then
it was just kind of
Expo,
a crazy roll, and now I don't have an excuse. So, and we thought maybe one of the guys from the Nissan Nation podcast was going to be on tonight. He jumps on every once in a while, so we were totally ready to send them a link to join us live on the spot. But we will schedule something with them. And try to coordinate a cross collaboration effort to give away the Mountain Hatch. Mountain Hatch made a couple one-offs for the Nissan Frontier, and they were nice enough to give us one, and we're going to give that away. We just got to figure out how to do it. Going back to our calendar conversation, we screwed the pooch trying to do a calendar contest, and we're not good at it. So we just need to figure out how to do it. Maybe the guys at the Nissan Nation podcast are better at contests than we are, which isn't hard.
They can't be any worse.
Yeah, exactly.
They cannot be any worse than us because we're horrible.
So if you guys have ideas for the contest, let us know.
And again, this is a very specific Mountain Hatch product for Nissan Frontiers only. So that's me. And I already have one.
And that other dude.
And Alex.
And there's
And
Alex,
one more dude.
And I think somebody else. Do Nissan owners listen to podcasts? I don't know. Maybe.
Will
there's not
their
many of us
2000
out there.
will their 2005 radio on their truck play podcasts?
That's a great question. I
You gotta
don't
get
know.
that tape deck to the adapter.
The adapter. That's right. You gotta get that
Dude.
tape deck to Bluetooth adapter.
No, bro. Going back to my Ford Escort, I had the CD player Velcroed to the
Yes.
center console, had the output
yeah.
from the CD player into the tape deck adapter, and you'd put CDs in the CD player and cruise, and hopefully you didn't hit a bump and skip it.
Oh, you didn't have the ESP,
That was
Sony-
before ESP.
skip protection.
No, that was way before skip protection, bro.
That was when we were still circling the perimeter of the disc with a green Sharpie because supposedly that did something.
What?
What was that supposed to do?
I don't know. I've never heard that.
It was supposed to this was pre-internet conspiracy theories, but it was supposed to center the eye of the laser or some BS like that. I don't know.
So old Nintendo games, they wouldn't stop. They would stop reading at a certain point. So people would get alcohol and Q-tips on the cartridge.
You just spit in them, dude. You just spit in it.
Or
Yeah.
lemon. People would say lemon juice, or alcohol, or toothpaste. Dude, you heard all this crazy shit just to try to get your Nintendo game to work.
So on Snopes, it says the claim is that coating the edge of compact discs with green marking pen will noticeably improve its sound quality. Status false.
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah, that's.
Where was Snopes about 30 years ago?
Oh, I love Snopes. Yeah, I had not heard that. But there was you mean back in the day, like if you had a CD, you were like in the next level. But when you think about it, the cassette tape was way better. You didn't have skipping. They were smaller. Like it just.
Yeah, but you couldn't. There was not enough the replay aspect. You could
Yeah.
wear out a tape.
Yeah, and you
could
couldn't
wear out a
skip
tape.
tracks. Yeah, you couldn't skip
Yeah.
tracks.
Well, if you had an Alpine, you could skip tracks.
What?
Or a Blaupunk, tape player.
Oh, I like
you know,
those.
like a nice one.
Yeah.
Those had that ability. But also, if you left your tape out on the front seat,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was hot. That shit got warm,
Gone.
warped. It was like,
Gone.
oh no. Then he had to go get that Smashing Pumpkins tape again. Damn it! I've bought Gish like 5 times already.
Oh,
So
my
into
God.
it,
Oh, in the
No. No Smashing Pumpkins.
no, I don't like Smashing Pumpkins.
Jane's Addiction.
I'm okay with
Jane's
them.
Addiction.
Billy Corgan's a whiner.
He owns a wrestling league now.
What?
Oh,
Wait.
and he is super into conspiracies.
Oh man,
Is he?
Where
Oh,
is this
dude,
show
he's-
going?
He was on Howard a couple years ago talking about he saw a shapeshifter in front of him, like shapeshift.
Like Mystique in X-Men shapeshifter?
Yes, like he basically said, I was talking to somebody in the industry. I'm doing air quotes, and then I turned away, took a sip of something, and I came back, and it was somebody different. So, wow, that's crazy. You're a rock star. You probably do a lot of drugs, right? 'Cause I've seen Cody turn into Jose and vice versa a bunch of times. Practically every time we go out camping.
Yeah, after a bunch of White Claws, I don't know what's going on.
That's right. That's right.
That's funny. No, I don't.
That's called the White Claw shift.
Yeah.
That's all that is. But yeah, so he's like into that stuff. And I didn't even know that till recently. I might have liked Smashing Pumpkins even more
No.
back in the day if I had known that.
Lame.
Exactly.
Lame. All right, moving on from messages. We did get one voicemail this week. I want you to listen to it. You ready?
Yo, this is Roosevelt Lee Roosevelt. I like your show. You guys do good shit.
Well, you might
know who
you
that
might
is.
you might have missed it.
You know what?
Yo,
I think I know who it is.
What? Hold on.
yo, this is Roosevelt Lee Roosevelt. I like your show. You guys do good shit.
Who? Who was it? Who's Roosevelt Lee Roosevelt?
That's Casey, dude.
It's not Casey because the
That's not
number. First of all, it's not Casey. He would come up on the call history. It was a 626 number. So that's the City of Industry, like Walnut, that area, like East LA area. I have no idea who that is.
26 is not East LA, dude.
Well,
No, that is not East. That's
Dude.
it's that area, dude. It's close enough. It's
like Westminster.
West Covina and East LA are not close, dude.
you don't consider West Covina like the eastern part of LA?
No.
It's the map shows mostly Pasadena. I just checked. It's
Oh, there you go. Okay, that makes sense. 626.
It's Pasadena, Azusa, West Covina, El Monte, Monterey Park. So
I'm waiting for him to comment on YouTube and say, "Oh, I jacked somebody's phone and I called in."
no, I'm sure that wasn't Casey. So Roosevelt Lee Roosevelt, hit us up. Send us an email. Who are you? I want to know more about you. That was a great message. And anybody else that has cool comments, call 951-394-DIRT.
Okay.
All right. What about what else is going on, guys? Anything else that we want to touch base on? Any other topics to address?
Like we talked about where we would go wheeling once we got
what's-
out of.
What is the
Out of the-
first show we're gonna hit?
What's that?
What is the first show we're gonna hit when this lockdown goes away?
I would like to do El Mirage. You guys got the chance to do it right before everything got locked down, and I did not go that time. So you guys seem to have a good time up there. We haven't done Calico.
Ooh, I want to do Calico. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to do Calico. I know Tammy was excited about doing that.
I want to camp in Calico.
Ooh.
And Silver
Yeah,
Coast.
we should do a camp trip.
Yeah, but man, so when's lockdown? When do we think lockdown's over?
One more week, end of this month,
Oh, it's like early May, right? I thought it was 2
May
weeks,
1st. May 1st.
May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, that'd be funny if it is actually May 4th. So yeah, I guess if we go,
Oh, well, let me ask you guys this: if quarantine's over, is our Mojave trip still a go?
Oh,
oh man,
oh.
That's next month. That was scheduled for next.
that was
month.
scheduled for next month. That was when's Memorial Day? It was end of May, right?
End of May, like 27th or something like that.
Yeah,
So a month from now, almost. I don't.
May
think we're gonna be in
25th.
quarantine.
yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, so May 25th. That's
Yeah, so
4
the
weeks
22nd, yeah, Friday the 22nd.
through the 25th.
Right.
Now the downside is we had talked about staying one night in Laughlin, and I don't know that 3-4 weeks from now I'm going to be comfortable spending the night in a hotel in Laughlin. So
it's
if
hard enough staying in Laughlin without like coronavirus
Yeah.
around the corner.
that's what I'm saying. Like
You know,
I'm surprised Laughlin wasn't the first place it broke out.
Hey, exactly.
Well, why don't we just do a
Your cousin's wedding a couple years ago, and we were staying at the Colorado Bell. I'm surprised I didn't get coronavirus 17 or whatever it was back then. Because that, woo, man, that, you realize, man, this place is really old. It smells old in here. Yeah. So,
why not just camp an extra night?
Yeah, that's what we would have to do. We would have to do an extra like we had talked about a little bit is go out to Laughlin but not. So what if we went out? If we drove from here, from Southern California out,
a KOH or KOA or whatever, right?
that's what I'm saying. Is if we drove out the 40 from Southern California, out to the 40 to Needles, Laughlin, Fort Mojave, Bullhead City area, found a place to camp, spent the night there, Friday night, and then Saturday headed in to the Mojave Trail, spent Saturday night out in the trail like we usually do, and then Sunday hit the 15.
I think we should do early morning to the trailhead. Do one day on the trail, camp one night, and then do the rest of the trail, and then camp the other night. Like, why waste one night just getting to the place?
So you're saying take off Saturday morning instead of Friday. Leave Saturday morning,
Whatever,
drive.
however the logistics work, but saying like leave our SoCal early, super early. That way we get to the trailhead early enough in the day, maybe
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we get
if we left Southern California early Saturday morning,
Like
drove
at
the
6?
40 6-7 o'clock, drove the 40 out up to the trailhead, took the trailhead in 1/3 of the way, spent the night.
Camped out somewhere on the trail.
Yep. Then woke up.
coming back.
Coming
from
back.
Laughlin.
Yeah, and then woke up on Sunday, drove essentially
All
a
day.
third of the way, camp,
Yeah, and
and then Monday morning hit the freeway and come home.
Camped out at Razor Road.
There you go.
And then hit like that stuff we couldn't hit.
Yeah.
We always we don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Because it's the end of the day, and it's like, look, it's already.
Everybody's
3,
got to
4
get
o'clock.
home.
Let's get on the road. Mm-hmm.
I like that
But
idea.
We're already essentially, even if it was running late or whatever, Razor Road's only 20 minutes off the highway.
Yeah.
You know,
But there's all that area
That
right
camp
there to
spot.
explore.
there's a lot of cool stuff right there to explore. Yeah.
And that
Okay,
way,
let's
we're not staying in a hotel. We're not, you know, the only thing with that is we would need to carry more fuel because we'd be on that second day. We'd be able to kind of zigzag back and forth and see a bunch of stuff versus going straight through. And if we're going to spend the night at Razor Road,
there's the gas station at Razor Road.
oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, if that was really an issue, we were cutting it that close where we didn't have a whole lot of fuel to explore the next day. Well, on the way to that our second night, our second campsite, we just run up the road really quick, get some top off.
Yeah, and there's a gas station off Kelso Sema Road too. So if we got on the midway through the second day, we could go up Kelso Sema to get gas and come back down.
So are we taking an extra day, or are we just making use of the holiday?
Making use of the holiday. Because usually when we do it, we'll go out to Laughlin Friday night, spend the night, trail Saturday, trail Sunday, home Sunday night. So Jose's saying don't waste the Friday night, take off early Saturday, and I like that idea.
Okay. So again, but we still could not doing the Friday night because we just don't want to stay. Why bother camping or anything like that? Just early. We leave at 6 a.m. We hit the trailhead at 10 or 11.
Yep.
Do a third.
Go.
Basically, a third gets us to the Fort Peyote or whatever. If that.
Yeah, no, that's probably about right. I'm looking at I'm trying to pull up the Mojave map right now.
Was it Fort Peyote?
Yeah, that's one of them. That's the one that's off the dirt road. I mean dirt road. It's all dirt road.
Rocky.
The Rocky Road. Yeah, the Rocky Road up in the fort. But you can't park at you can't.
It's off the dirt road. It's that one off the. Yeah, you're right, Jose.
But you can't. I don't think you can camp there.
Road.
We'd have to find a different camp
No.
spot. You can't camp at Fort Peyote.
There's all kinds of
Peyote?
stuff
Peyote? What is
out
it?
there. Fort Peyote. Maybe.
Hey, it's 420 today.
Oh, it is. It is 420 today. Yeah, that's right. Happy 420, everybody. And tomorrow's my brother's birthday. Explains a lot. So anyways, I definitely think that if the quarantine is lifted, I definitely think that it's an option. I think
Well, yeah, dude. Nevada ain't holding no quarantine. They're barely. They probably ain't gonna make it another week on a quarantine. Everybody's like busting at the seams at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, people are starting to get antsy now.
Yeah, Duty Driven
I
was
think-
saying that Utah is supposed to start opening up May 1st. I know a lot of other places are.
I think literally people are just going to be very aware of the 6-foot rule and wearing masks all the time, and we're just going to people are probably just going to ride it out. I don't know. I can't see this being much longer as strict as we're adhering to it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I'm telling you, like, I'm starting to see a lot more people and streets out in public, or cars out in public, like on the freeway.
you're seeing all the streets out.
I'm seeing all the streets in public. They're not following the quarantine.
They're not even doing nothing. They're not even
Yeah.
hiding it. Those streets are not even hiding. They're just right out in the open.
Nope.
Just right in your face.
Nope.
Ballsy, dude.
So I think we play that by ear, though. I think that if we get a couple more weeks in, and everything looks like it's good to go, we were going to do Overland Expo that same time period, and that's now gone. So the Mojave trip is definitely, I think, an option. And I think we just play it by ear and come up with a good plan. But I'll look at the maps and kind of get an idea of what that looks like if we were to break it into a 2-night stay, and find out. I'm sure I've got a bunch of campsites mapped out there.
Oh, I know. I watched it's Trail Recon, and Brad did
Yeah.
Mojave Trail last year. I think you guys might have done this campsite before. Definitely high altitude.
Oh yes,
Uh,
yes, I know exactly which one you're talking about. The
It
first
was
year we did it.
circular campsite,
Mhm.
like pine trees, and they
Yes,
actually got snow on this particular episode.
yeah. The first year we did it, I didn't have this much mapping done, and we started going up this trail, and it got to the point that was the year that the guys that I were with, I was in my Jeep, and the other three vehicles were rentals, literally Enterprise Rent-A-Car rentals, a four-wheel drive Dodge Nitro, a four-wheel drive Jeep Grand Cherokee, and a four-wheel drive Jeep Liberty. And so I'm leading, and we're bombing up this hill, and they're like, let's keep going. And the guy in the Grand Cherokee ripped the whole beauty skirt off of the front end of the bumper. But we got up to this. I got some really cool pictures of this. We got up to this area, and we camped in this circular campsite, like with rocks and mountains and trees, and it was gorgeous. Like you would have thought we were in the San Bernardino Mountains, not in the Mojave Desert. But that's a
I thought
good
you were gonna
point.
say just San Bernardino. I was like, what?
No, I'm talking about Big Bear. We're like, you would have thought we were in Big Bear. But that's a good point, Matt. I'll look at that and see where that maps out, and maybe that's the first night stay is up there. But I will tell you that I did not take gas with me that year, and we made more than one U-turn, and we went all the way up that hill, and coming down that hill towards Laughlin, there were the majority of that trip. If it was not downhill, I would not have made it. At one point, I had the Jeep in neutral, and I was just like, I'll go as far as I possibly can in neutral because I knew I didn't have enough gas to get to the end of the trip.
Wow.
And then so we get to Laughlin, everything we spend the night, we get in the Jeep to drive home the next day, and every time I make a turn, the whole body of the TJ would shift and start rubbing on the inside of the tires. I'm like, what the hell? There's a track bar in the back, the rear track bar where the
you
track
probably broke the welds.
where the rear track bar mounted to the axle, the bracket broke, and so the whole back end of the Jeep would shift completely. So I ended up pulling over and getting ratchet straps, and I ratchet strapped the track bar back into place, and we drove home from Laughlin with the ratchet strap. We took as many side streets as we possibly could and slowed down to like 20 miles an hour every time we had to make a turn. It probably took me 8 hours to get home.
Oh wow!
It was.
Maybe I won't get a Jeep.
The Mojave edition.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a fun trip. But yeah, so going back to the original comment, Jose, I think it's definitely a possibility. I definitely think that with a bunch of this stuff being canceled, it opens up that weekend.
Yeah.
Look, don't give me an excuse. I'm ready to do it now. I don't care. Quarantine, schmorantine. Let's get out and do it. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, we
I do. Yes, of course. We talked about it last week. We need to be responsible. And hey, Jose, I was going to say, the hospital. I had a walk by the hospital today.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot more action today.
It's because
Yeah.
they heard me complaining about it.
They saw me coming.
Yeah.
And they were like, guys, act like we're busy.
Exactly.
You act like you're sick. You puke on the ground.
I was in a hospital in LA last week, like I said, on a job walk, and there was plenty of activity, and it was all kinds of icky. I did not like being there. I wanted to get home as quick as I could, shower.
I didn't shower or nothing. I just I savored that.
You rolled in it?
Yeah, I wallowed around in it. Just bring it on, coronavirus. No, I think actually the next. It seems like we keep talking about this next 2 weeks, the next few weeks, or we keep talking about that because it seems like we've been cramped up for so long. But in reality, I think like we're actually in it now. Like this is the for us in SoCal.
Mhm.
I think this is like the
Eye of the storm.
yeah.
Are we
We're
past the eye?
The eye is like the calm part though. Like if you watch all the disaster movies, like the eye of the hurricane, it's very calm. And
Yeah,
then
cool.
to
Well,
get
it's
out of
that-
there.
It's like we're in the routine right now. So but I think everyone's. I'm telling you, you could feel like the boiling point is we're reaching that point where like people are gonna start going crazy, dude.
And then what happens?
Walking Dead. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know,
if
I'm asking.
if Walking Dead happens, we are going straight to the Mojave, and we're going to live out there. It's going to take them a long time to walk out there.
Yes, but how are we going to live out there?
Yeah.
I don't
You know,
know.
that's the
I
thing.
haven't thought that far ahead, man.
I think what we do. All right, here's what we do.
One
We
bag
make-
of beef jerky goes so far.
we look. We head out to Ludlow off the 40 there on the way to Laughlin. We recreate Thunderdome right there, like right next to the Dairy Queen, and then we hold up at the Dairy Queen and we hold down all. They got a lot of food and snacks and stuff there.
Nah, we go to
And,
Baker, dude. Baker, and that way we can have a lookout tower on the world's biggest thermometer.
I think everybody already knows about Baker. I
Yeah.
think Ludlow. Nobody wants to go to Ludlow. I don't even think zombies want to go to Ludlow. That's like their last resort.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that go to Ludlow are those that run out of gas and have to
So I'm
walk
saying
there.
You gotta think like a zombie, like you know. So everybody knows. Nobody likes Ludlow. Even
Oh,
zombies
so
don't like Ludlow.
so Adelanto then? So we're going to Adelanto.
All right, you know what? We're already at
I don't
2
like to
hours.
go.
Hold on, we're at 2 hours, not counting the 30 minutes we wasted beforehand, and we haven't even touched base on the topic we planned on talking about today. So
What was that?
so let's go back to a conversation we had the last time we were on the trail, and we were talking about airing up, and
Oh, that's
man.
right.
we totally had this planned, and we're just now getting to it. So the last time we were out on the trail together, we were having a conversation about airing up, and Matt was pumping his tires up to like 412 psi. And I was like, "Really? You're going to go that high?" And he's like,
and I floated home.
"Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I always run him at like 45." And so I want to know, Matt, why do you run your tires at 45 psi?
I swear to God, when I had the tires put on, they put them up to 45 psi.
All right, that was like a
That's
17-year-old
what-
kid working on a Saturday. Like, I don't. What makes you think he knows what he was doing?
He got paid to do it.
Yeah, true.
I don't get paid to do it. I don't know.
Jose-
But, you know, you had made the point, like, you know, oh, it says inside your door. And initially, with that logic, I'm thinking, how the hell does my door know what kind of tires I'm running or whatever like that? But again, you know, the weight of the vehicle obviously would be the, you know, the
It's
relevant.
constant. It's the constant.
Yeah.
So no, you know, next time you had made mention, look inside the door, and I ain't looking inside the door, and then you're all, it's 35 psi. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm already done with 3 of my tires. I've been running them at like 45 for a couple months now. Anyhow, just gonna do this last one, and then next time I'll probably go ahead and put it at 35.
Yeah. So the inside the door of every vehicle, I think, at least everyone I've owned, it tells you tire and loading information and recommended tire pressure for each of your tires, and it'll tell you what to run. And so, as an example, mine is like 30. I think mine was 30, 35, and like the way I see this is, if you buy a vehicle that's stock with 30-inch tires and it's telling you to run 30 psi, right? We'll just use that as round numbers. Even if you upsize to 33-inch tires, you can still run 30 psi. So the pressure is the pressure. The only difference between the 30-inch tire and the 33-inch tire is now you have more volume in that tire to maintain the pressure. The manufacturer is saying 30 pounds of pressure on all 4 corners will keep this vehicle at the right height and stability that it needs to be. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Sure.
The only time you would need to go higher is if you start adding load and weight
Yeah.
correctly. So you get
If
steel
you're towing or
bumpers,
something.
a winch, a rack, all that stuff. Now you have
Like
to
that
start.
guy in the driver's seat.
Now you have to start increasing your tire pressure to accommodate for that. But you shouldn't have to. I think I brought it up because I see a lot of people that like on the side of the tire, it says, at
Max
max pressure
PSI.
80 psi, and they pump it up to 80 psi. Like all that, that's just saying that they're pretty sure the tire won't blow up at 80 psi. They're not telling the tire manufacturer's not going to tell you what to run it at. The vehicle manufacturer is.
If you run it up to 80 psi, does that make you more buoyant?
No, it'll make it like you're
driving
riding on
ice.
concrete. Yeah, exactly. There'll
No,
be
but I'm talking buoyancy.
no.
What if you had to cross a river and you wanted some more buoyancy? Is that going to help your buoyancy?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
So.
So are you guys like just giving? You're just agreeing with me?
Yes. No, actually, absolutely.
No, so
when you brought that up and I started to say, and you were like, "Shut up, we'll talk about it sometime or whatever." You told me to shut up. I was going to agree with you then.
In my head, it made sense. Like, it's less rolling resistance, the higher psi.
Agreed.
Yes.
So I mean, that's bro science that I'm throwing out there. But
No, absolutely. Because the more tire pressure, the other piece is the more tire pressure, the rounder your tire is going to be, and the less contact you have with the ground, which is going to have less rolling resistance. But it will also
rounder,
more bulbous, more bulbous. No, I'm talking about the part that touches the road,
footprint,
the flat part,
yeah.
the footprint. So if it's pumped up and it pushes that out a little bit,
the contact patch becomes smaller.
correct. And so it's the exact opposite of when you air down to go off-roading. You want to increase that contact patch. So if you have it pumped up too much, you're just going to be running on the 3-inch, 4-inch strip down the middle of your tire, and then you're just going to wear your tire out incorrectly instead of flat. And I've heard of other shows that they say you put a chalk mark on your tire and then drive your truck on a flat surface and see if the entire chalk mark comes across as opposed to.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far.
Time for that.
I'm not going to go that far. My suggestion
I
is
must buy another set of tires. Can I not do that? Can I not do that?
So I read an article from Popular Mechanics.
Okay.
And they did a mileage test. Like they pumped up the tires on a car on the recommended PSI, and they got 45 point something miles per gallon. And then they did the same loop, and then they aired it up to like 45 PSI. I think above the recommended.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same. Like there's no.
Oh, really?
It was hardly like it was like a
Fractions.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fractions. So it doesn't really help. It's a myth.
Yeah, so I guess my point is I would say look at the door of your car and inflate to that pressure. If you feel like you've added additional weight, then add a couple pounds extra until and make sure your tires are wearing correctly.
Yeah, and the reason why the MPGs were the same is because at a certain point, the tires aren't the factor. It's the wind. It's the resistance your car of the shape of your car. That's going to be the biggest factor after a certain speed. Where that's going to be the biggest factor is like your wind resistance.
Yeah,
So the tires don't even play a factor in that anymore.
Yeah, this is something I've thought about multiple times, and it came up. And like I said, when Matt was pumping up his tire to that level, I thought I've seen people look at the side of the tire and go, it can do this at 50 pounds, and they'll put 50 pounds in. And that's just not accurate. That's not the best way to do that. And I just wanted to touch base on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just have like 31-inch tires, and usually I air up like a lot quicker than you guys. I could have got home like probably 20 minutes earlier.
That extra 10 pounds.
35.
Yeah, the extra 10 pounds all the way around per tire.
All right.
And we do.
Well, now you've certainly sold me. Because I don't wait for you guys. Once we're, if we're airing up or whatever, if we're coming home from,
Yeah, the leave no man behind thing.
Anza or wherever it is, I'm out.
Matt goes into
home.
warp mode the minute we hit pavement, and he's not waiting for anybody. He's gone. He's like the Roadrunner, just leaving dust and taking off.
It's like you guys made it off the trail. You guys are safe. You're just another car.
Yeah, not my problem at this point.
Hey, if you're behind, you're behind me now or you're behind me later. Might as well be now. And then I got to check out. So Okay. Well, you know what? That's good information. I think. Look at us providing valuable. I consider tire pressure knowledge like valuable content.
And I'll be honest,
a service this week.
I didn't know there was a recommended PSI for each car. I had never even paid attention to that point of the little plaque inside the door sill.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know when
Is your plaque still there inside the?
It is.
Oh, dude, it's a Toyota. That sticker's going to be there forever.
Well, they got to scan it when you do your smog check.
Oh, yeah,
Do
that's
you
right.
have
It's
to-
got a
Do you
barcode.
still have to smog check?
Yeah, dude. Every 2 years.
He's not. Isn't it like 1980 something? Like,
Close enough. No,
Like
it's
a-
76. It's 76.
Yeah, before it's a classic car or something, you don't have to smog it. You're pretty close to that. You still have to smog stuff. Seems that doesn't seem fair. Like you should just be. Look, I'm still wheeling this thing.
you're like,
I
look,
think you
dude,
owe me.
it's
I would like
past
my
the
back
test.
Taxes.
I've passed this test 25 times. You don't think I'm going to pass it again? Why are we even doing this?
Every other year, so 12 times.
I had to get the Toyota smogged when I sold it. I was kind of bummed about that. Stupid. All right, cool. Well, we imparted knowledge on you about tire pressure. If we are wrong or if you have input, please let us know. 951-394-DIRT or thetrailchasers@gmail.com. Otherwise, we are going...
Or talk shit about us on another podcast and go, this is what these numbskulls
These were the
say.
jackasses said. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that have better shows or better content that know more stuff. So that's our input on it, is look at your door and kind of go with that. And then, Mojave is now a real possibility. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on the news and the directives in California. But
You know what that means though
huh?
is if I plan on doing this, probably a slew of honeydews I'm gonna have to do.
She's gonna get.
We were going to go anyway.
Yeah, she's gonna get a weekend without the boys. Are you gonna bring the boys on that trip?
I guess if we just do 2 nights of camping, we don't do Laughlin or
Yeah.
whatever. God, am I gonna do? 2 nights?
Okay, well, that's an off-air conversation because I know where you're going. So yeah, well,
I'm trying not to go crazy with my 2 kids.
I know.
3 days straight.
I know. I was there at the Anza Borrego trip. That's what I'm saying. But anyways, keep an ear out. If Laughlin's happening, we'll let you know. I would love to do that again. This year, and especially now that the
What if that was the big breakaway event? Like, we're free, and it became a thing.
well, the only thing about the Mojave Trail is
with our
the unquarantine.
We had discussed
The
with
problem with
previous
that.
guests.
But the problem with that is if you get more than a handful of people on Mojave, you have to
Too
get
much fun.
no, you have to get permitted.
That's right. Remember
Don't we have like a really cool icon
contact?
Yeah, don't they sponsor us?
What-
Can't they just hey guys?
How
check
does
this
that?
out.
No, I'm saying, how does that relate to working with the Rangers to get permitted? That's all I'm saying. Is if it's there's
Buy a permit. It was like $15 or
No,
$20 if you
it-
went over. I thought it was
It was like $45 or something.
yeah.
was it for some
exactly.
reason I thought it was more.
No.
No, it was like 40. If you went over 15 vehicles or 12 or whatever it was, you got to pay $40, and then you can go up to like 100 or something like that.
Then it becomes a
You-
parade.
Yeah, at that point.
Exactly. You want to parade the Mojave? Do you want to traffic jam the Mojave? $40.
$40.
Well, and that
$40.
so the BLM
Traffic
site
jam.
is saying that all visitor centers, campgrounds, restrooms, lava tubes, Zizix area closed until at least April 30th.
Yeah,
So
I think May 1st is like the world is gonna get we're gonna jumpstart the world, and who knows what's gonna happen after that.
no, so look, $91 for group recreation with more than or equal to 7 vehicles
Okay, so
or more than 25 people.
Okay,
It's $91 for
chip in
filming.
we're in $100.
couple of bucks.
Yeah, I mean, that $91 isn't that bad. For some reason, I thought it was
Maybe, but
more.
Hotel. We're not staying in a hotel, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you're not losing all your money at the poker table like you did last time.
dude. Like the last 2 times, I lost $100 for the sake of losing $100. Like, it was just the opportunity. How often do you get to go play, poker or blackjack or something like that? And it was like, look, I'm pretty tired. I gotta lose this $100 really quick, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Let me lose this $100, then I'm gonna get out of here. Then I can say, I gambled $100.
That sounds like the way I used to golf. Like I'd pull up to a course that had a water hazard on the right. I'd just pull a ball out of my bag and throw it in the water hazard as an offering.
Get that out of the way.
Here you go, water monster. Take my ball.
There you go. Take my balls.
And then the water monster would continue to take like 3 or 4 more balls before I actually got off the tee box. But whatever.
You know what? I can go a lot of directions and throwing. You can't. That insatiable water monster.
Taking all the balls. All right, guys.
That's right.
So keep an
That
ear.
sounds like a good place to end right there.
Keep an ear out for.
Insatiable water monster with chucking balls into it. Look at Jose's laughing. Oh, that's the best.
All right, so keep an ear out for the Mojave if we're gonna do it and what's going on. Well, it'll all depend on the world around us. And
Is that the episode name? Insatiable ball.
No.
Monster?
Oh, good night. Oh shit. Okay, I'm saving this. That is pretty funny. The insatiable ball monster. How did it come at the last 30
don't
seconds?
know.
30 seconds of the episode though.
Just cut it. That's good.
Leave
Leave it.
No, it's
Send that to
staying.
it. Send that to the podcast Hall of Fame. It's good. Straight there.
Insatiable ball monster. Oh shit. Okay, that's been saved. We did not do a whole lot of views tonight on YouTube.
nah.
We were late, and we didn't. Previously, we used to broadcast like, "Hey, on Instagram, we're going live,"
Mhm.
and we're not pulling a lot of that fandom or
Well, yeah, and we're not, if we're gonna do this every Monday, if we're gonna now do this on YouTube like this, we should really start like Saturday and Sunday, start promoting it and be like, okay, at 6 o'clock, you know what I mean, at this specific time.
Yep.
If we did 6 o'clock, does that give both of you enough time to get? I mean, can you make
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah.
Well, right
That's
now, yeah, no traffic, but it's when the world restarts. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But I do think that if we start going, okay, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we promote that we're going to be live at 6 o'clock on YouTube, and then we go live at 6 o'clock on YouTube on Mondays. That'll really help with the
The build-up.
Okay, so Duty Driven is on. Casey was on. He left. Ilium's on. Joe K was on for a little bit. Who else is up there? Yeah, so let's make a plan to start promoting this on socials next week, so we can push the live stream on Monday. So
Why? What is the reasoning
Hold-
for
hold on.
dropping Instagram?
hold on a sec. I'm going to end the live stream on YouTube for all 5 of you. So for everybody that's there on YouTube, we're out. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Bye.
Like.